2 decades of severe weather experience here for you when it counts. This is Doc Deason's Weather, live now. Tornado warning.
All right, everybody, it is 5:01 as we get moving this afternoon. We've been, if you were watching the page posted just a few minutes ago about a monster hailer, which is impacting areas north of I-30 up extreme northern sections of what would be Franklin County here shortly and Titus County. The Weather Service in Fort Worth went ahead with a tornado warning for that storm, observed tornado, the reason for that. So let's get in on the radar and see what we have cooking this afternoon. Again, tornado warning now in place for you guys in northern sections of what would be Franklin County, as well as extreme northern portion of Titus County. This, again, is going to be for an observed tornado that the Weather Service had spotters on and noticed over into Lamar County here just a little bit ago. Just as big of an item there is going to be, or almost as big an item is going to be the hail in this thing. Up, we go to area there, upwards to tennis ball sized hail reported in that storm here just a little bit ago. It's really impressive. And again, the observed tornado adds a whole lot more credibility to what we're dealing with here this afternoon. So the storm is going to stay north of Mount Vernon. So I know we have folks with us in the Mount Vernon area. Met some really nice folks here a few weeks ago when I was up in that neck of the woods doing some real estate business. So this will stay north of you guys in Mount Vernon. It's going to really just more or less kind of clip the northernmost part of the county. So there's Talco. You guys are in the warning itself. We'll get a little tighter in here. Here's Highway 271. Interstate 30 is down here to the south, down closer to Mount Vernon and Winfield. So again, you guys in Mount Vernon probably got a heck of a dark cloud off to the north of you. And I would expect some pretty good lightning as well. But the warning itself covers extreme northern part of Titus County. Does not include, looks like Morris County at this time, but and then the parent storm again, the hail being the big concern as far as property damage is concerned. The tornado potential in there and having been spotted adds a lot more concern there. If we have something, let's take a look at the latest from the Weather Service, and they're looking at that storm. Yeah, again, near Pagoda. And moving east, is that there? East at about 45 miles an hour. So damaging tornado and tennis ball sized hail. So that lines up with what we're seeing on the radar. So let me move a few things around on my page so I can see that. And so we're using the Fort Worth radar at the moment. So some significant outbound winds moving out away from the Fort Worth site, and then some inbound winds here. The tornado itself very well could be in here just along Highway 37, heading out of Pagoda right now, if there is something there. But then again, the hail placement would argue for something to be a little bit further back off to the south, into kind of this rural section of what would be extreme northwestern, or actually that would not even quite be in Franklin County yet. That would be down just off the county line there. So if we have anybody who is plugged in northern sections of the county, just of Franklin County, Mount Vernon area, you guys let us know what you are seeing at this time. But again, tornado warning for extreme northern Franklin and extreme northern Titus counties. And that'll take us here, I think, what time does that go? For another 39 minutes. So that puts us at about 5:45 on that. Again, spotters having observed something off to the west. That was, in fact, a tornado, according to the spotters. And when we have that, obviously, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the situation and allows us to act accordingly. And in addition to the tornadic concern, the hail threat is what really got my attention earlier on with this area here north of Talco, shooting, man, that's tennis balls could be some stuff maybe a little bit, even a little bit larger in that potentially. Smith County, Tina, Mount Enterprise, Emma, not as concerned at the moment for areas that far to the south. We do have some storms that we'll watch here in just a second. Lissa watching from the Rose City baseball evening games. Okay, yeah, we're going to be okay here in Tyler for the time being. It's hot. What is it? I got 86 right now here at the real estate office, and the dew point's a 75. So that's a lot of juice, and it's really sticky out there. While we have just a second and see anything, we'll look for anything additional out of this. Is again, it's still up just north of the Franklin County line, but that hail core is getting awful close. Back to the west, asking for folks who are in Smith County. We have the severe thunderstorm watch box that goes until 11 o'clock tonight, and once we get a little further into the evening hours, had some folks asking on my on the Facebook page earlier, and the Weather Service was kind enough to chime in with the thoughts on that. I think we'll have another watch box quite possibly further south. So even though Jacksonville, you guys in Shelby County, Nacogdoches, Cherokee County, not involved in this particular watch yet, that does not mean we don't expect to see some potential for storms later on. I think it's just going to be a little bit later on before a watch box is necessary. Here are the storms back out towards Cleburne and over towards Stephenville. They're kind of clustery at the moment, but the thought is that we'll see these things kind of congeal into a larger mass. And yeah, Dan, that's a beast, man. These are more or less kind of coalesce and come together into what looks like a larger cluster of storms. And when they start to do that, we start to look for the potential for more of a straight line wind concern as these things just kind of sweep across the area from west to east. And remember we had that big derecho event back into Upshur County. Was it June of last year? It was hot. I remember that. Took a generator up there for some folks who were without power for several days, but it just swept across and knocked a lot of power lines out and some main transmission lines as well. So not to say we're 100% sold on that potential outcome tonight, but that is going to be a possibility later on with these things as they continue to work in an environment that's especially susceptible to storms, and there's just a lot of fuel just laying out there ready to be consumed if we can light it up. So again, we came on here for the tornado warning, which does include our far northern counties there, far northern Franklin and extreme northern Titus County right now. Hail core, again, it shows up most prominently and upwards of some baseballs in there. Some impressive, the higher the reflection, the better the confidence is for larger and larger hail. Let's just put it like that. That's more or less that's how the correlation comes together. But regardless of the tornado, the hail threat is definitely there and something that we want to be especially mindful of. So there's definitely rotation in there. I have not seen anything in the last little bit as far as additional confirmation from spotters on this thing. So we'll see here. So it looks like Weather Service is going to drop that tornado warning for Lamar County. So that's good. Probably because the thing is exited. Yeah, nothing new from Weather Service on things at the moment. But a heck of a lot of rotation in there. Again, on the right-hand side of the screen, you're looking at the velocity product, the winds at the radar shoots their beam into the storm, and it gives us an idea as to the direction the winds are blowing as they correlate to the radar site, which is back in Fort Worth, at least this one here. So you can make out some some pretty tight, some strong winds in there, and some pretty tight rotation as well. I have not seen report as to whether or not this thing is still down on the ground, although one was reported observed about 10 to 15 minutes or so ago, and that's what led to spinning up of that tornado warning, which was just outside of our area, and then further downstream. Subsequent to that, Weather Service in Shreveport hands off from Fort Worth, or takes the handoff from Fort Worth, and they start issuing for Franklin County and the guys further downstream into East Texas. Will a storm miss Smith County, Courtney? Yeah, probably. This one here will. It's going to pass off well to the north of us. So we're not coming on per se for Smith County concerns, but for our neighbors up to the north. And want to be sure they have plenty of heads up on that. A lot of outdoor activities today. I've got some friends who were going to do some broadcasting for playoff softball earlier this afternoon. My buddy Kenny Smith, and so they had games going on out just to the northwest of Tyler earlier on, and so I know we got hardball going on in Tyler tonight with some of the folks who I've seen here kind of checking in. So a lot of folks with questions and some concerns there, obviously. Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate that. It was good to be at the Red Cross banquet, and I was honored to get to talk there. Will it make it to Shreveport, Tammy? Yeah, well, it'll eventually. All this stuff will, likely we'll see storms kind of coalesce later on tonight. So Mount Pleasant, talk to folks in Mount Pleasant. Tracy, good. Yeah, everybody's okay in Mount Pleasant. It's a heck of a storm though off to the north of them for sure. So something to definitely watch. But I think this thing here passes north of Mount Pleasant. And speaking of, let's look at the radar loop for the last hour or so, and you could start to see how this thing began to look a little bit more interesting as it started to make a turn kind of to the right a little bit. It was moving. It was moving along a line, at least to me. It looked like it was moving, relatively east, and then kind of started to make a little bit of a southeast jog. And when you start to see those storms do that, that can sometimes indicate that they're spinning pretty good. Potentially, right movers are ones we can look at, oftentimes for being suspect of, possible something tornadic trying to get going in there. So all these things, they've got a mesocyclone there if they're supercellular anyway, but some of these things, when they can really get hooking off to the right, that's when we want to take a good look at them and keep a closer eye on them as we would opposed to others. So the severe thunderstorm watch box again, if you're just hopping on, 514 tornado warning, northern Franklin County, northern Titus County. Those are the only counties involved in any kind of a warning. There's a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued prior to the tornado warning for the same counties and extreme northern and western sections of Morris County. But the rest of our area is warning free at the moment. The watch box, again, goes until 11. It goes as far south, really, as the southern part of Smith County and cuts, Rusk County in half. I think Weather Service opted not to include Rusk County in the watch box itself, or Panola County for that matter, for now. But likely we'll have another one that will be issued later on this evening once things get a little bit more organized and a little bit better handle on what it is that we're dealing with. But scattered showers down southern, southeastern counties right now. Let's look at the Shreveport radar while we have just a second here too. And it'll show a lot of the same stuff, but in a little bit different place due to the location of the radar. So again, we're looking at a Shreveport now, which makes the storms off to the west look a little muddier because the beam is hitting those higher than it would from the Dallas radar. But it is getting closer in on that storm that prompted the warning for Franklin County and Titus County. So we'll take a look at that real quick. So it doesn't look like anything new there from that. That was back at just before 5 o'clock. So we got that. Softball games at Troop. Jamie, I think you're fine for now, just besides the heat and humidity. So I got 85 here at the office. And wind, northeast wind at 2, so that's not going to help you too much as far as cooling things off. But the hail in this thing here of late, let's look at a couple of baseball and Bullard at 7, Darren. I'd say give it a shot, man. At least get some innings in before you have to cut it off. You know, back when I was a kid, we played the game until we couldn't play the game. So you know, the lightning gets in, that's when you gotta think about pulling it. But I'd get in what you can at this point. Kelly, I have not seen anything reports of a tornado go to right now. I have saw a report. There was a report earlier of one back off when the storms were just west of there, but nothing at this point to indicate that we still have that. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. They canceled baseball in Bullard. All right, Jason. Well, we tried, didn't we? We tried. So it looks like, let's look at the Vils on this too real quick. See how this, it looks like the hail may be trending down a little bit just with the general reflectivity. So let's look at this. It's about 10 minutes old, so it's just Vil values, just to think of it as kind of a hail tracker almost. The brighter the color, the bigger the hail potential. If we watch storms and we're seeing the Vil values go down on it, that's a indication the storm is losing some of its steam there. But with data being 10 minutes old, that's doesn't do us a whole lot. I'm kind of curious as to what it's doing of late. Yeah, a lot of these products are a bit older. So Echo Tops, we'll look at that. Yeah, it looks a little, maybe a little bit reduced off of what it was earlier. So let's go back to reflectivity at the moment. Athens area, Dorothy, Athens looking fine for now. Gilmer, Leah looking okay. Nothing really south of these storms per se that's severe. I mean, we're way up here. We got to go south to get to I-30 with this one. So I don't want to cause a lot of alarm for you guys further to the south and east because there just ain't much going on there right now. We do have the storms out to the west, closer to I-45. Tatum area tonight, Latanya. I mean, I'd say be ready for some storms later on, but it's going to be a bit. Nothing of concern right now. Far south is Cayuga, Misty. Yeah, you guys, Anderson County, y'all are not in the severe thunderstorm watch box. So stuff further south, that'll be something we're gonna need to just kind of wait and watch. Canton area, Ashley. I mean, storms out west are getting their act together. We'll go back to the Fort Worth radar, and we'll put that into motion for you. So we got warnings out on this storm out near Cleburne. It's like a definite boundary right here around Cedar Hill. See that? See how that lines up like that? So they seem to be going up along that boundary. That may be the one that was kind of draped across East Texas earlier today. So I mean, these are some good looking cells out closing in on 35. So if they continue on that same, these are also starting to kind of make a little bit more of an easterly or southeasterly move, it looks like, in the last couple of scans. But we'll watch for further development out in here. You see these storms that are trying to go up over near Plano on the south end of this. That could be it could very well be a sign of additional development that, would likely fill in. And that's something we were kind of thinking about, or it looked like was a possibility. An eventual possibility. All right, so Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for, let's see here, they've canceled for Franklin. They're going to continue for Titus and Red River counties. Tornado warning remains in place till 5:45 for Titus and southern Red River. 5:18 storm capable of a tornado located near Wilkerson or near Box Elder, moving east at 40. Tornado and golf ball sized hail. So let's Let's get back on that then. So we've moved from the observed tornado to the capable of producing a tornado situation, which is the right direction to go, obviously. Chandler's looking fine right now, Heidi. So let's get back into this. So we've cleared Franklin out of the mix. So we'll get that. Yeah, this does not look as impressive as it did earlier. Yeah. You're welcome, Heidi. Glad you're here. Sabine County tonight, Catherine, going to be late if you see anything at all. Joyce, I don't know if the tornado was on the ground or not at Bogota. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that spoke to that. There was a report of a tornado observed when the storm was back to the west of, well west of there, outside of Franklin County. So I don't know if there was anything actually that touched ground inside the county or not. So I can't unfortunately speak to that. 5:22 right now, though. Tornado warning continues for northern Titus County and extreme. Let's see, we got Red River, southern Red River, and Titus counties until 5:45. So that's about 20 minutes or so from now. We'll take that if they choose to hold on to that warning. And with it having produced something earlier, any amount of rotation is something that you take a lot more serious after it has shown the ability to produce. So I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised either way how they play that. Honestly, if it keeps on this general theme here, they may pull it a little bit early, but we'll have to wait on that to see. Glad you're here, Laura. Thanks much. So we'll see you guys at Mount Pleasant. Y'all are fine. Talco, storm just off to the north of y'all at the moment. You guys in Franklin County, you quickly seeing this thing scoot off to the east of you. So hang in there for that. Anything for Winnsboro, Mark? No, not right now, man. This will pass well north of Winnsboro as well. Susan, you're in Chandler? Okay. Yeah, y'all are going to be fine in Chandler for now. Nothing immediately in your area. Again, this thing does not look nearly as organized as it did 10 to particularly 20 to 25 minutes ago. Cows are headed to the higher ground here in Houston County. All right. Good for y'all, Jessica. Thanks for running those cows. Hope you guys are doing good in Houston County and Trinity County. I know you had a lot of rain, especially Trinity County last couple of weeks, man. It's been tough sledding down that neck of the woods. So we've got this one warning for our immediate area. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings off to the west. You bet, Joseph. So severe thunderstorm warnings off to the west. The tornado warnings, you got to get way out south of Brownwood to see any additional tornado warnings across the state. And a couple of severe thunderstorm watch boxes, and then that tornado watch box out from other side of Corsicana out into Tom Green County there near San Angelo, or just about to Tom Green County. So 5:25 now. So the tornado warning continues officially for 20 more minutes till 5:45. Let's get clued back in here. Some noise in there for sure near Talco. But like I said, I haven't seen anything speaking to a touchdown in a while. Okay, yeah. Weather Service said that they think the rotation not as significant on the storm as it was earlier, which is what we were seeing. So that's encouraging. You want to hear that from the folks who have a heck of a lot more resources at their disposal than we do. They're going to ride the warning for a little bit longer, see if it cycles back up. And so, yeah, they're going to let it ride for a second. They canceled the warning for Franklin County, Sherry. So it looks like they're typing something in now for Shreveport, and they very well may let the Tor warning go and keep the severe thunderstorm warning, because it obviously still has a lot of hail potential in it. At least it meets that minimum 1-inch hail criteria, I would think, although that is not as big as it was earlier. So, yeah, Weather Service is going to cancel the tornado warning, it looks like. So that is the best news we could get. Well, I guess the best news would be it's not hailing on somebody's place there along the northern Titus County line, but it is probably doing that. So the tornado warning will be allowed to go away early. It was originally expected to be in place until 5:45, and again for good reason. They had something observed by some spotters earlier on when the storm was well to the west of our Franklin County area, and so that was put into place, and so we want to give that extra special attention. And the that hail, though, still very respectable. I bet at least a good smattering of quarters in there over southern Red River County. There's Clarksville, so you get down here along the Red River and what would be the Titus County line. So, hail production there. If we had up to tennis balls earlier observed in this, I bet you probably some golf balls could still be tied into that thing, even at this late date, but most likely a lot more quarters. You'll have a few golf balls in there, but a lot of quarters, I would bet, and just other pocket change kind of hail with that. And like I said, that is the only strong one in our immediate area. Again, we try to cover, if you're new to the page, I try to focus on the 26 counties that we have immediately around East Texas. And we do pay attention to what goes on up closer to Interstate 30. Have folks who are involved with us that far to the north and down south through Lufkin, Nacogdoches, Sabine, St. Augustine, Trinity, Houston County. So that's kind of my general neck of the woods that I try to focus on more intently and keep tabs on when it comes to severe weather, especially. So yeah, Shreveport has now officially canceled that tornado warning. So it is good to be able to say that. It leaves us with that severe thunderstorm warning for that storm, which is really just, at this point, is just really riding along the northern part of Titus County at the moment. You can see how it looked a lot stronger on radar earlier. See that presentation there, those brighter purple colorings dotted in there. Now, granted, it was getting shot higher. The storm was getting hit higher by that Shreveport radar at the time, but still, yeah, very respectable. But back moving a little bit more due east as opposed to that northeast or that southeast bump that it made when it was tornadic a little bit ago. So we'll keep an eye on that and come back in and talk as we need to. It's 5:30 now. I'll be watching stuff here through the evening. Got an event to be at here for a little while this evening. We'll be posting some stuff and then come back on live as we need to for any more pressing, significant, severe stuff tonight. But I do appreciate you guys hopping on with us and helping us keep tabs on things, so to speak. But in the meantime, I'll hand it back, and we will talk more a little bit later on this evening if we need to. We'll post images, still images, radar, and whatnot as the warnings come across here throughout the evening. And watch this thing and get ready for some quieter weather come tomorrow when things cool off and we're not as humid. I think you're going to like what we got tomorrow. We'll talk later on that as we need to. All right.
Thanks for watching this live broadcast from Doc Deason's Weather. When weather's at its worst, we're at our best. Doc Deason's Weather, the calm in the storm.